What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the Stonadge channel. We've got a nice basic chill studio today for what will be a fantastic and class stream, in my humble opinion anyway. It's the Premier League predictions, so of course everyone does this before the season. Not many people do it mid-season, and with 10 games to go, I think it's the perfect opportunity now to reevaluate my Premier League predictions from the start of the season and, find out where can I go wrong? Where can I improve? And also just pick out where I think teams will finish from now till the end of the season, because it's still very much a lottery. Hello to Lucas and David in the chat. Good to see you're here nice and early as always. And basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to go from 1st to 20th. Now, I'm going to go deliberately from the top to bottom because I think it's equally, probably more as interested, more interesting at the bottom than it is at the top. Or shall I go 20th to 1st? Let me know. But first of all, how is everybody? How's your day been? We are back for another daily stream. I know 3 days in a row. What on earth has the world come to? And it's going to be a fun old stream, I think, this one. And everyone can get their say. Everyone can have their predictions. What do you think will happen in the Premier League at the end of this season? There are so many teams who could get in the top 4. So many teams who could go down. It is an absolutely mental time. Hello, Josh Lyle. How are you doing? And Elias is in the chat as well. Good to see you, mate. As always. And it's going to be a class one. But first, how has everyone been today? Has it been a busy day? Has it been a positive day for you guys? Let me know in the comments below, because I want to know about you just as much as you know about me. I've finished a little portfolio for my uni, so that was a dub for me today. Also applied for a job and also did a little bit of Football Manager by myself today as well. Keyboard change. What I was going to say, hi mate Chris. Oh, love that, Elias. Good to see you, mate. It's going to be a really class stream. I think that this could be. I think I might have got the table pretty much spot on from now. I've got to back, to quote Simon Jordan, I've got to back the courage in my convictions, and I think I will. I think I've got this spot on. But we'll see what you guys think. Shall we? No. So I'm going to put this in the chat. Do we want to go 1st to 20th, or do we want to go 20th to 1st? What do you want to do? Because I'm happy to go either way, and I'm happy to have a dialogue about everyone and everybody's games towards the end of the season. Because I think everyone deserves the coverage that they're going to get. Apply for a job. I know, man. It's for a graphics company. I know. And then there's another one, which is for Sky, which is a junior social media journalist, which I am fancying that one, lads. I can't lie. Am I receding? What's going on here? Is this just the angle? I'm not. Yeah, I'm not receding. It's fine. I thought for a second. It's just the angle, lads. It's fine. I'm not. It's my one biggest insecurity, as you guys have found out. But yeah, I think it's going to be a absolute quality one. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. I would love to read them and see what you guys are thinking for the Premier League. I am going to put all of my teams in this little area here, just so we can I can always keep up with it. So as you can see, it's just a bunch of numbers right now. It's not 8th. It should be 18th there. So it's just a bunch of numbers, not 85th. 81st. Not 81st. So who do you guys think? First of all, we're gonna start at 20, because it's probably the least exciting, I think. And when am I making a Football Manager video? Because it was good to watch. Probably soon, Josh. Probably soon. I'm thinking of maybe streaming it over on another channel as well. So I'm gonna start with 20th place then. And I'm gonna continue from where I left off on my opening Premier League predictions back on Mundo Sporto a long time ago. Shout out to you guys if you were actually in that chat. And I'm going to go with Bournemouth finishing 20th. So my thoughts on this are, I think they've got the weakest squad in the Premier League by a comfortable margin. They've also got a very inexperienced manager in Gary O'Neill there, despite the fact they beat Liverpool, and fair play to Bournemouth for beating Liverpool, well done. I just don't think that they've got anywhere near the quality of any other side in that area in terms of squad. Honestly, I think they got promoted a season too early as well. I don't think their squad was good enough from the Championship, let alone anything else. So I'm going to put Bournemouth in 20th. I'm also going to go through their fixtures as well, their remainder, which is they've got to go, lads. I think I'm not going to lie. Gary O'Neill has, they beat Liverpool. Fair play. They find themselves in 19th at the moment, of course. But this is their running. They got Fulham at home, Brighton at home, which is a huge game. Leicester away, a massive game in that relegation battle. Spurs away, West Ham at home, another huge game. Southampton at home, Leeds at home, another huge game. Chelsea home, Palace away, and Everton away. So they're playing a lot of the relegation rivals. I just don't see them coming out on top in many of those games. But if they do, say if they beat Leicester, say if they beat West Ham, and if they beat Southampton, there's a genuine chance the Bournemouth do stay up. But to be honest, they probably need 5 wins from their remaining games, maybe even more than that. It's going to be really difficult for them. I don't see them getting anything against Man United or Spurs or Chelsea. Maybe Chelsea actually, but I just don't see it for Bournemouth. I really, really don't. Obviously, their quality mostly comes through the spine of the side. They got Neto in goal, of course, who's now the club captain. You got Philip Billing, you got Dominic Solanke. That's the main sort of, and Senesi, sorry, as centre back. Those are the 4 players really that you look to for AFC Bournemouth to get them out of the mess that they're in. But I think they'd be better off going down another season. I just don't think they're ready yet for playing at this top level. Even though they've had the investment from Michael B. Jordan and his consortium. They brought in Ouattara, they brought in Antoine Semenyo, Hamed Traore, Mateus Vigna as well. A lot of good young players. I think a season in the Championship would do them very much good for them to bounce back once more. They've got the money to survive. For me, they're down, lads. For me, they're down. And I'm going to have them in 20th position. What do you guys think about Bournemouth? Good to see you, Josh Gain, in the chat as well. How are we? As always, great to have you here. And yeah, Josh, what do you think about AFC Bournemouth? Where do you think AFC Bournemouth will place come the end of the season? It's going to be a really, really tough slog for them. But as Robbie said, the fixtures aren't too bad. There's a lot of battles in and around the relegation places, but I don't see it for Bournemouth. I really don't. So in 19th position, I'm going to go with Everton. So Everton this season have been terrifically inconsistent. Despite the fact they've got 5 points from their last 3 games, I just don't see where they pick up many points towards the end of this season. They have got Spurs at home, which I think they might pick up a result in. Fulham at home, I think they'll lose that game quite comfortably. Palace away is a really tight one. Newcastle at home, Leicester away, Brighton away, City at home, Wolves away, Bournemouth at home to finish it off. I think Everton v Bournemouth on the final day will be a really, really I think that'll be a dead rubber. Well, not a dead rubber, but the 2 teams that are going to get relegated. Yes, Sean Dyche is a top manager and can keep any side in the Premier League, but everything off-field going on at Everton at the moment with their financial fair play situation, the doubts around whether their stadium will actually get built, or whether it probably will get built, but whether they'll actually be able to use the stadium is another question because of this financial fair play situation. I just feel like they're in deep trouble. And with 10 games to go, they've played more than every single team around them. Everyone's got a game in hand on them as well. They're in trouble, Everton. They genuinely are. And I think they rely so heavily on Dwight McNeil to get any form of creativity that if he potentially got an injury, I'd have them down bottom of the league. There's no debate on that one. I think that they're in a real relegation battle. And if they're not going to be in one this season, they're definitely going to be in one next season, and I think they'll be favourites to go down next season if all things continue to go in the sort of stream that it is going for Everton. I just don't think it's going to happen. Bournemouth bottom. I think they'll finish 19th, says Josh. I don't think they got that Sims at top. Yeah, they do. He scored his first Premier League goal against Chelsea, of course. Hasn't had the greatest impact, though, since returning from Sunderland. Robbie says Everton will scrap enough point. Alternate Cav says, Southampton are decent. They play better football than a lot of these teams. They're just unlucky with their results. Well, talking of Southampton, I'm going to have them in 18th position. So these were the 3 teams that at the start of the season I said would go down and get relegated. And hello to Ball in the chat, by the way. I said that it would be Everton bottom, Bournemouth 19th, Southampton 18th. Obviously, those things have swapped around now. But I just think Southampton although they've got some really exciting players, and I think they can get some results, I've got them in 18th. And I think they'll be absolutely fine when they go down, that they'll come straight back up. I don't think Everton will come straight back up, by the way. If Everton went down, I think they're done. But Southampton and Bournemouth, I think, have the infrastructure at the club, the young players at the club, to enable them to get back into the Premier League. Let's go to Southampton's fixtures, because they have picked up a little bit of form under Ruben Selles. A big draw against Spurs, a result at Man United, a win over Leicester, a win, of course, over Chelsea. Southampton's fixtures don't look as nice as Bournemouth's and Everton's, I have to say. They've got West Ham away, which is, for me, one of the biggest fixtures of the season. I think those two are in dire straits, really. Southampton then have Man City home, Palace at home, Arsenal away, Bournemouth at home, that's huge, Newcastle away, Forest away, Fulham at home, Brighton away, and Liverpool at home to finish the season off. Now, they've got a great young crop of players there. Bazunu, I think, is brilliant. Bella Kotchap. There was a part, until Bednarek returned to the club, that all of Southampton's back five were under 21. That was a huge risk from Sport Republic to take. They really shouldn't have done that, I think, in one window. They needed to have one experienced head in there, but just not Bednarek. I think he's crap. So you've got Southampton, Everton, Bournemouth, I think, going down. I think the two South Coast clubs will be absolutely fine next season, especially Southampton. They've got so much great talent around. Whether they keep hold of all of it, I'm not too sure. Izzy's in the chat. Hello, how are we? So, yeah, I've gone Southampton 18th, Everton 19th, and Bournemouth 20th as my relegation zone. I could be wrong, because there's literally 8 teams to choose from here. But, yeah, from 12th to 20th, it's pretty much impossible to predict, isn't it? It's so difficult. If you haven't already, by the way, hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. It means the world to me. And let me know your comments in the chat below. I was about to say in the stream below. We're not in a stream. Well, we are, but you're not. So we got Bournemouth 20th, Everton 19th, Southampton 18th, 17th. I've gone with a team who are quite high up in the league, position-wise, but maybe not points-wise. I've gone with Crystal Palace to survive with by the skin of their teeth. Now, Palace have just reappointed poor old Roy Hodgson, who at 75 years old really needs to retire. Like, lads, honestly, bless him. He just needs. I saw him on the telly the other day. Like, lads, just let the poor man be. You know, just let him put his slippers on and rest in front of fire. They haven't done that. Palace have brought him back into management. I'm not sure he's the man to motivate these players. Seriously, I think Palace have got some talent in their squad, but where are the goals, lads? Where are the goals? Odsonne Edouard has just completely disappointed across his spell as in London. I mean, seriously, they are relying so heavily on young talents to come through and save them. Eze, I've not seen a worse presser in my life. Great talent, great footballer in my opinion. Great talent, doesn't press. If you don't press, you're done. And especially in this Palace team, you have to have that effort. Elise, I think he's a quality footballer. Again, great technician. Doesn't have the energy, in my opinion. Jordan Ayew just doesn't have the goals, even though he has the energy. So he has the least quality, but he's going to play. Mateta just doesn't have the quality up top either. He just can't finish. He cannot finish. He is literally crap. Mateta. He is so leggy and so ungainly when he's running. It doesn't work for me, lads. It really does not work for me. And I think they'd be better off with bringing in a striker in the summer if they can. Obviously, Palace have got very rich owners, but don't invest. The rich owners do not invest in the team. I had a chat with one of the lads from Eagle Eyed Football, and he was saying they've got their owners are some of the richest people in the world, but they just don't spend the money. It's a cash cow for them. It's an investment rather than something to put money into. And I worry for them next season. If I'm being honest with you, I really worry for them next year. I quite like Crystal Palace as a football club. A great fan base. Really sound. But I've got them in 17th because I just think they're gonna just survive it because of the quality they have. Next year without Wilf Zaha, they're finished. They're done. They are down for me without Zaha. Unless they get in a manager who's got the same sort of impact that Patrick Vieira had. I just don't know, lads. I just don't think they'll have the goals in them. I really, really don't. They're going to have to find the goals from somewhere. And where can they find that from? I just don't know. For me, they're down and they're in dire straits. So Crystal Palace are going down next season, but not this one. 16th, I've gone with West Ham United. So I think West Ham, overall, out of all the teams in the relegation area, have got the most quality. You got Antonio, who, although isn't my greatest favourite player aesthetically, is a goal scorer. You've got Gianluca Scamacca, who's got unbelievable quality. Just hasn't shown it at West Ham United. You got Declan Rice in the midfield, who has to go. You got Souček in the midfield, who has had a bad season, but is a good player. Lucas Paqueta, who can forget they signed him in the summer. Naya Fagerd at the back is a fantastic defender, and it's someone who I would want Liverpool to be involved with if he does. If West Ham go down, I'd want us to get involved with Naya Fagerd. Seriously, he's a cracking player, and it's no wonder that when he's been playing, West Ham have looked more solid. It's just an issue with his injury worries, and I think sticking with David Moyes will prove them right in one sense, that they will win the Conference League, in my opinion. And I think they'll just about survive based on the quality. Jared Bowen as well, Pablo Fornals, plenty of quality there. West Ham could be one of the teams to elevate themselves all the way up into sort of 12th, 13th position if they get on a good run. Let's go and have a look at their fixtures first before I completely define it. So they've got a massive game on Sunday against Southampton, which I'll be doing a watch-along for here on the channel. They've then got Newcastle at home, again, one I'll be doing on the channel. Fulham away, and then the Conference League comes in with Ghent home and away, then at home. They've got Arsenal at home in between that. Bournemouth away, Liverpool at home, Palace away, Man City away, United at home, Brentford away. Now, they have got to play, as I said, Newcastle, Arsenal, Man City, Man United. So that's probably the top four at the end of the season, potentially. And Liverpool, so potentially, some of the best teams in the league. That is an issue for West Ham, but I think they've got the quality to beat one of those teams at the London Stadium. Genuinely, they've got the ability to do so. So yeah, I'm gonna say West Ham to finish 16th. But again, I think they will win the Conference League, and I think they'll qualify for the Europa League, which I think is David Moyes' remit. It was his remit at the start of the season. So I've gone with West Ham in 16th position, and they're probably gonna be all right. Will still to Palace next season. I think Will still will have his eyes set a lot higher than Crystal Palace. But I do worry for West Ham a little bit. Their fixtures aren't great. I think if they are probably the next team. If it wasn't for the rest being so bad, I'd say there'd be more logic to West Ham getting relegated seriously. But they've got some quality in that side, and if it clicks, and if they get if they got the confidence, then yeah, I'll go for them. Next up though, in 15th position, I've gone for Nottingham Forest. Now a lot of people have them as catapulting down into the relegation battle, which is very much a plausible option. I just think that their home form will see them through. Nottingham Forest, although they lost to Newcastle last time out, they were unfortunate in that one, I have to say. But let's have a look at Nottingham Forest, their fixtures and their home fixtures especially. So they got Wolves at home first. Then they've got away trips to Leeds and Villa. They then got Manchester United at home, Liverpool away, Brighton at home, Brentford away, Southampton at home, Chelsea away, Arsenal at home, Palace away. I think they get points from Southampton. I think they get points from Brighton. I think they get points from United at home. I think they get points from Wolves. I think they potentially get points at Anfield and potentially get points at Stamford Bridge. There's a lot of options there for Forest. I think they lose to Arsenal. I think they lose to Brentford. I think they lose to Villa. I think they potentially lose to Leeds as well. But there's a lot of scope for Nottingham Forest to get points. They've got enough quality in that side, although a lot of it isn't linked up. They've just got enough quality in there. I mean, you just look at that front line of Gibbs White, of Brennan Johnson when he gets back fit. He's going to be huge for them. Lingard hasn't played particularly well, but recently. But yeah, you then got Danilo in the midfield, Renan Lodi at the back, Aurier at the back, Remo Freuler in midfield again, player great for Atalanta in his time. Ryan Yates and of course Niakate, Omar Richards, so many great players in that Forest team. I know they haven't linked up particularly brilliantly this season, but I think there's the capability for them to do so seriously. And I've put them in 15th position. There is it again, they have a plentiful opportunity for them to finish below that. Seriously, there is plenty. And there's also an opportunity for them to finish above that. That's how tight it is. But I've got them in 15th because I just think they've got the quality enough now to keep them up in the Premier League. And although the fixtures are tough, I back Steve Cooper and his men to get it under control. 14th position, I've gone for Leeds United. And for similar reason to Forest, really. I think they've just got more quality than Southampton, Everton and Bournemouth. And they've probably got more quality than Forest and Palace as well. I think West Ham obviously have more, but Leeds United, although they've hired Javi Gracia, potentially not the biggest name out there. He has a track record. He kept Watford in the Premier League, finished 11th with Watford in the Premier League. Leeds United, though, however, have some tough fixtures of their own. They travel to Arsenal, then play Forest at home, Palace at home, Liverpool at home. I think they'll win that game, if I'm being honest. Fulham away, Leicester at home, Bournemouth away, Man City away, Newcastle home, West Ham away, Spurs at home. A tough set of fixtures, but I think Leeds will be okay. I think they, again, just quality. Gnonto, Sinisterra, Tyler Adams, Jorginho Ruta they brought in from Hoffenheim. Rodrigo always pops up with a goal. Brendan Aronson's got quality. Bamford's got quality. Harrison's got quality. It's just whether these players can click at the right time. And I genuinely think they will. They've got a couple of good results recently as well. A 4-2 win at Wolves, a 2-2 draw with Brighton as well, a 1-0 win over Southampton. They looked like they were down dead and buried, really, didn't it? But I think they'll get a result, potentially against Palace, against Liverpool, against Fulham, Leicester, Bournemouth. There's so much scope for Leeds United, I think, to rise up this table. And Javi Gracia, although he is not the most glamorous of names, I think he's got enough to keep Leeds United in the Premier League. And I mean just. I think all of these teams, by the way, will still be very, very close to each other. I don't think there's going to be any team to really run away with it. But I've gone with Leeds United to finish 14th, which is where they are now, actually, in the Premier League. They have played 27 games, which is one less than the two teams above them and Everton. I think they'll be fine. I genuinely think they'll be fine. I think they'll probably they'll cause some results, and it is so close down there. It's almost impossible to predict. But what am I here to do? Is to make impossible predictions, lads. And I've gone with Leeds United in 14th. Try not to die. In 14th place. So, 13th. I've gone with Wolverhampton Wanderers. So, I think, again, it's a case of quality and it's a case of manager. They've got, one of the best coaches in the Premier League in Julian Lopetegui. Someone who's built himself up from nowhere, really, and got himself to some of the best jobs in world football. Now, Wolves, I don't think, have enough offensive quality in the long run, so they need to invest heavily in that. Diego Costa in 2023 is a problem. Why is he there? Jimenez, you can't rely on anymore, I'm afraid. They need to spend big on a striker in the summer. They spent big on Fabio Silva to be the future. I mean, I don't really know how well he's doing at Anderlecht on loan, but being honest, it hasn't worked out for Fabio Silva at Wolves. It's a bit of a problem. How well is he doing over at Anderlecht? He's not even at Anderlecht anymore. He went to PSV and he's got 5 goals in 12. That's not bad. So what I assume will happen is he will come back and play for Wolves next season and be their secondary option. But they need to invest big in a striker next season. But this year, I think just the midfield area, they've got the quality, and they've got Mateus Nunes, they've got Ruben Neves, they've got Moutinho, they've got Mateus Cunha, who they brought in, of course, who's more of a forward. Pablo Sarabia as well, who's made a massive impact there. So yeah, Diego Costa, why is he there in 2023? Hello, Falafel, how are we? Good to see you. And AFCB Fan TV's in the chat as well. Good to see you. I'm sorry I've put Bournemouth 20th, man. I'm sorry. I really, really am sorry. But yeah, I think Wolves going forward need to do it, lads. They need some investment. But I don't think they do it. I don't think they do it regularly, and I think they could be in trouble next season. But a manager like Julian Lopetegui to organise them, I think they've got too much in the way of defensive organisation to keep to go down. Whether they keep hold of some of their best players next season, I'd love to see Ruben Neves in a Liverpool shirt. It would be incredible. Whether that would happen, we'll see. I don't think it will, personally, but he would be a perfect Henderson replacement, wouldn't he, lads? He would be absolutely magnificent. But yeah, I really like Wolves. I've got a lot of friends who are Wolves fans, and I think they'll be fine in 13th, but they need investment next year. Unfortunately, of course, Suning, their owners, have a bit of an issue. Obviously, China is in a massive recession at the moment, so that's a bit of a problem for them. But whether they sell the club, whether they continue to invest and make it a sustainable one, whether they sell potentially Max Kilman for big money or Neves to reinvest in a forward line, that might be the way for Julian Lopetegui to succeed at Wolves. But yeah, I'm going to put them in 13th position. So that leaves one team left in that bottom brawl, and I've gone with Leicester City to finish 12th. So you might be thinking, Chris, Leicester are an absolute terrible run. Why on earth would you have them in 12th place? Are you mental? But lads, it's a question of quality. You have a look at that squad, and yes, they're tremendously underachieving, but it's not only a question of quality, it's a question of fixtures. Leicester have, for me, the kindest run of fixtures remaining in the Premier League. They've got Man City away in a couple of weeks' time, but elsewhere they've got Crystal Palace away, Villa at home, Bournemouth at home, City away, Wolves at home, Leeds away, Everton at home, Fulham away, Liverpool home, Newcastle away, West Ham at home. In those 11 games, I think they can easily get to 40 points. There's no way that they can't. Which I think you will need 40 points this year to survive, which for the first time in a long time. For me, Leicester City, I think they've just got so much about them. And potentially they may look to change Brendan Rodgers in the summer, but he's got enough quality as a coach for me to keep them in the Premier League. They've not had the greatest time of things, but Harvey Barnes, Tielemans, Maddison, Tete, who they brought in on loan, Iheanacho, Patson Daka, and they got Ndidi, who has fell off a bit in midfield. Dennis Pratt in midfield. They're players who aren't good enough. Victor Christensen, who they brought in, of course, the Danish lad, the left back. He's a class act. Castagna is an experienced pro. I think Danny Ward's an underrated goalkeeper, if I'm being honest. And I think he's got a lot of ability. But Leicester for me finished 12th. I'll put them in 12th right now, and I think that they will be the best of the rest when it comes to the relegation battle. And I think they could get away from it quite easily, to be honest with you. I don't think there's much other options out there than to finish 12th for Leicester. That fixture, if they go down, it's an absolute travesty with that fixture list. It seriously is. And I worry. One thing I do worry for, though, is if they pick up injuries. If, say, Maddison gets injured, or if Danny Ward gets injured. Obviously, they've got Daniel Iversen on the bench as well, who's played well for Preston, but realistically, they're in trouble if injuries get picked up. That's the one thing I will say. Their quality is great, but it's not got depth. And if injuries are picked up, they are in trouble. So, now it's down to the worst of the best in 11th place. There's a significant gap between 12th and 11th, and I think it will stay that way. But 11th place, I have gone with Fulham. So, Fulham have overachieved massively this season. They are for me, one of the biggest overachievers, because a lot of people had them in a relegation battle, and numerically, they look like they should be. I watched an Athletic piece, or no, it was the Tifo Football Channel, IRL, John McKenzie it was, and it showed the impact of certain individuals and how they've overperformed. That certain individual, Bernd Leno, has been so crucial for Fulham. They should have conceded 6 more goals than they have. Now, if you think about that in the context, that could be 18 points. So Fulham could have been in a lot more trouble than what they are at the moment. But I do think they will regress. They're also a lot better against bottom half sides than they are against the top half. I worry for Fulham next season. Again, I've said this several sides. Fulham, I think, are prime candidates to suffer with second season syndrome. If they lose Mitrovic or Leno, which isn't probable, I think they could be in trouble. But they are at the moment they're 12 points clear of there. It's been a great season for them anyway. Bournemouth away, West Ham home, Everton away, Leeds home, Villa away, Man City home, Liverpool away, Leicester home, Southampton away, Palace home, United away. So you might think there's a lot of bottom half sides there, Chris, but I don't think they'll continue on the run that they have. I don't think they'll finish above the sides below them. I think Villa and Chelsea have a lot more quality, and Brentford. And yeah, I just don't see Fulham maintaining their top half place. I think I'm going to have them in 11th, guys. But what are your guys' thoughts on Fulham this season? It sort of seems like they've slipped, I don't want to say under the radar, because a lot of people have praised Fulham for how well they've done. But I just don't know. I feel like, obviously, Brighton overachieving a lot, Liverpool and Chelsea completely underachieving, the whole drama going on at Tottenham, Leicester underachieving as well. I think Fulham potentially have slipped under the radar as to how well they've done. But again, as I said, numerically they've overperformed. I worry about them next season as to when they fall back down to their XG normality, which could happen. It might not happen. They might continue this overperformance. But yeah, I'm going to have Fulham in 11th, guys. What do you guys think? Will they finish as low as that, or will they finish higher? So next up, I have gone in 10th place for Brentford. So Brentford built a reputation over sort of the World Cup period and elsewhere, and past that, to being a side which are extremely difficult to beat. And I think that still remains the case. But again, as I've said throughout the whole of the video, it comes down to the quality of player. Brentford have a lot of quality players, and I think they've got a better team than Fulham. I'd argue they might have a better team than Aston Villa, but one thing I do worry about with Brentford is the run of form that they could go on if they continue how they've carried on recently. So the 2-0, they have, obviously, the 2-0 win at Southampton, the 1-1 draw with Leicester is a bad result, really, for Brentford. A 1-0 loss at Everton, a draw with Palace, a draw with Arsenal was a great result. But now I look at the rest of their fixtures, and I worry for them a little bit. So they've got Brighton away. I think they'll lose that, but I think that'll be an amazing game. Man United away, they'll lose that. Newcastle at home, I think that's going to be a tight game. Wolves away, will be a tight game. Villa at home will be a tight game. I think those two sides are really evenly matched, actually. Chelsea away, I think they'll lose that, but they potentially might. They won their 4-1 last season. Forest at home, again, I think it'll be a tight game than people realise. Liverpool away, I think Liverpool will win that. It's at Anfield, we're Anfield merchants. They've got West Ham at home, Tottenham away, and then Manchester City at home. So Brentford, out of all the teams in the top, have probably got one of the worst fixture lists, but they're on 42 points. They're level on points with Liverpool, having played a game more. They're 3 points clear of Fulham, 3 points clear of Fulham, 4 clear of Chelsea, and 4 clear of Aston Villa. But I've got them finishing 10th because I just don't think their quality in depth is as much as everyone else. Of course, they got Tony. They're losing David Raya next season, so they'll need to reinvest on him. Matthias Jensen's in a great bit of form. Damsgaard's a good midfielder. Josh De Silva had a good start to this season. Aaron Hickey's a great player. And Brian Burma, Johan Visa always have goals. Rico Henry's a good left back as well. But the depth isn't there for me. The quality and depth next season. I think that 10th for Brentford is my thought. They could get Europe. Genuinely, there's a lot of teams here that could get Europe, but I've got them in 10th position, and I think they'll just slightly fall off towards the end of the season. Now that brings me to my 9th placed side, and I've gone with Aston Villa. So Villa. So, sorry, I was just counting to see if I got all the teams in there. I did. In a great run of form with Unai Emery in charge. Ollie Watkins is on fire. The Villa Park crowd is on fire as well. I think they won 3-0 the last time they played. It seems such a long time ago now, doesn't it? But I've gone with Villa to finish in 8th position. They're currently in 11th. The run of form they've got on under Unai Emery is quite staggering, and their fixtures are quite kind, I have to say. They've got Chelsea away, which is a complete mid-off, which we'll be watching here on the channel. Potentially, I'm touch and go whether I will or not. They've got Leicester away, Nottingham Forest at home, Newcastle at home, Brentford away, Villa have got Fulham at home, then United away, Wolves away, Spurs at home, Liverpool away, Brighton home. It's a kind fixture list until the last 3 games, which I think are quite last 5 games, which I think are difficult. The coming like sort of 6 games, I think they've got them in the bag. I think they'll go to Stamford Bridge and get a result. I think they'll go to the King Power and get a result. I think they'll beat Newcastle at Villa Park, seriously. But I think Aston Villa, I genuinely think Aston Villa will do well. And Unai Emery, by the way, one of the most underrated coaches in world football. They've won 3 out of the last 4. They're starting to hit form at the right time. Could they push for Europe? Maybe. They're not far off. They're only 4 points off 6th, remember. Although they played a game more than Liverpool, it's very much potential, that, lads. It is huge potential for Villa to maybe sneak in. And it's the same for a lot of these teams. It's why this Premier League season has become so exciting, because it's like 2 leagues. One that could all get relegated, one that could all get Europe. So, yeah, I could be completely wrong, but I'm going to go with Aston Villa to finish in 9th position. So they're not going to get Europe. They're going to be in basically in mid position. Which I could be right, I could be wrong. So, 8th position, I have gone with Chelsea. So, I don't think they have enough to get up into the top 6 or top 5 or even top 4. I just don't think the run of form that they're on, and I don't think that they've got the pizzazz yet, and they haven't got the connection yet to get them into the top into real top echelons. They have been in good form. They've won games. They drew last time out. If they beat an Everton, it might all be a little bit different as to how we feel about Chelsea. Because they were only as good as your last 90 minutes, as many people know. I just don't think that Potter's got the juice at the moment for Chelsea. They've got a fantastic midfield, don't get me wrong. They've got a fantastic forward line if they can get on form. I just don't think they can. Defensively, again, just great players all over the pitch. I think Wesley Fofana will make a difference as to why they will get up into 8th position. I just feel like their season's been so bad. Like, it's been awful for Chelsea, and I feel for their fans. I feel for Graham Potter, and I think he'll be given time to get it right. It's just whether the fans will have the patience enough to deal with Graham Potter being in this sort of rut. Going into their final 10 games, I believe it is, Graham Potter, let's have a look. So they're currently in 10th position. They got Villa at home, which I said, again, it's going to be a tight one. Then Liverpool at home on Tuesday. I think that's going to be a huge indicator of where the 2 teams are at and where the 2 teams are looking. Wolves away. Then they've got the Champions League quarter-final against Real Madrid, which I think they'll get comfortably dispatched in. Brighton home, I think they'll lose that game. I think they'll have a tough game against Brentford. Arsenal away, I think they'll get battered. Bournemouth away, there's a chance for Bournemouth there. Forest at home, I think they'll beat Forest. I think they'll lose away to City, and I think they'll find it tough against Newcastle. That for me signals 8th place. That signals 8th place for me. And I don't think that's too far away, if I'm being honest. I think that's probably fair enough, right? I did consider so many players, so many teams for this sort of 8th to 11th spot. But I think I've got it right. And unless they can garner some sort of form, which is possible, then I don't see them getting any further than 8th place. So this is where I make a bit of a decision that potentially a lot of people might be confused by. And lads, I've got to do it, haven't I? 7th place, I'm doing it. 7th place, I'm going with Tottenham Hotspur. Now, you'll come at me saying, Chris, they're 4th on 49 points. What are you on about? Let's have a look off field. And the whole drama that's going on with Tottenham at the moment. Of course, the Conte situation happened. They've not been good this season. Let's get this fully right. They've been crap this year, and they found themselves in 4th. And fair play, they've got the results where they needed to get the results. They've looked bad a lot of the time when they've got those results even. For me, I don't feel like the assistant manager will have the same prowess as Antonio Conte. Of course, Fabio Paratici today has been banned from Spurs after he'd come out and posted a video. I just think it's too much going on off field for Tottenham, and I think they'll fall off. The only thing stopping this is Harry Kane. That's it. The only thing stopping this for Tottenham is Harry Kane. He's the only capable star and shining light for Spurs. Does he have the juice? Can he carry the entire club to finish in the top 4? For me, absolutely not. I think there's 3 teams that are more capable than Spurs at the moment, that are outside the top 4, that if Spurs played them, I think they lose to them. And the vast majority. And I worry for their fixtures as well. So let me just get them up. Spurs. So they're in 4th on 49 points at the moment, but they played 28 games. So again, they're not as far away from as many teams as you would think. Their fixtures worry me. So they've got Everton away, which I think Everton will get something from. Brighton at home, I think Brighton get something from it. Bournemouth at home, I think Spurs might win that. Newcastle away, Newcastle win for me. Man United at home, Man United do that for me. Liverpool away, Liverpool win that. Palace at home, I think they'll win that. Villa away, they'll lose for me. Brentford at home is going to be tight. Leeds away is going to be tight. I worry for Spurs. Seriously. I don't think they'll get in the top 6. And the only way they have is if they only build on the points that they already have picked up. For me, Tottenham finished 7th. And sorry, Lucas in the chat. I feel for you, man. And I might be completely wrong, but I just think the whole stuff going off field, Paratici being banned worldwide, the coach, Daniel Levy, like, it's all just so open. It's so open for Spurs as to what could actually happen. And the fixtures aren't great for them. The fixtures are not great either. So let me know what you think about Spurs in the chat. I've gone with them to finish 7th in the Premier League. So 6th. So we're nowhere near the traditional top 6 now. There's 2 teams, of course, that have broken into it on my current watch. Now in 6th place, I have gone with Liverpool. So no one can accuse me of being biased and saying, "Oh, Chris, you're just doing it so Liverpool could get somewhere." I've gone Liverpool to finish 6th, and again, that's to do with the fixtures that we have left, more so than anything. So we've obviously got Manchester City, Chelsea, and then Arsenal in the next 3 games. That's monumental for our season. If we win those 3, I'll say we're getting top 4, seriously. But those 3 games could completely derail us and even make us finish outside of the top 6. At the moment, Liverpool do sit in 6th. Liverpool have more quality than anyone around them, in my opinion. Liverpool have much more quality than the sides that I'm going to mention coming up. Even the sides potentially in the top 4, some of the sides anyway. But here's Liverpool's fixture. So we've got City away, Chelsea away, Arsenal home. I think there's 6 points going to be taken out of those. I think they'll beat Chelsea and beat Arsenal. Seriously, I think Liverpool beat Arsenal at home. Leeds away, I think Liverpool will struggle in, but may get a win. Forest at home, I think they'll win. West Ham away is going to be a real struggle for Liverpool, but we'll need to win that. Spurs at home, I think will win. Fulham at home, I think will struggle in, but I think we'll squeeze past. Same with Brentford. I worry about Leicester away, and I worry about Southampton away, but I think we'll beat Villa at home. So, for me, that it's touch and go. It's really touch and go for Liverpool. It all depends for me on the next 3 games and to see what trajectory we can set ourselves on. But I'm going to be conservative with the only thing I'm ever going to be conservative on is going to be my prediction for Liverpool, and it's going to be 6th place. And I feel, I don't want to do it. I don't want to put us in 6th, lads. It goes against all of my instincts, my au naturel. But for me, it's done for Liverpool. Champions League is going to be really, really tight. If we'd have beaten Bournemouth, fairs. But I think it's going to be it for Liverpool in the Champions League fight, which then moves me to 5th place. So. It's between 2 teams for me, and I'm still completely undecided on them, to be honest, because I think they're very evenly matched, and I'm just going to compare their fixtures. In 5th place, I'm going to go with Brighton and Hove Albion. So it's been a massive overachieving season for Brighton. They've had such an incredible time of things, and I think they're going to miss out just on the top 4. Just. And I mean just. De Zerbi has built a squad capable of getting in that Champions League. Seriously. They look unbeatable at home. They look like they might go on and win the FA Cup. Sadly, they drew Man City, but there is potential for them to beat them. Seriously. It's really, really tough within Brighton and another. I think, yeah, well, mate, also the Cavs, I think we will beat Arsenal at home. Seriously. 100%. I'm in it. Brighton. I want them to get top 4 if Liverpool don't. Seriously, they've been a joy to watch this season, but some of their fixtures are abhorrent. So they have got Man City to play at home. They've got Man United, in the FA Cup. Chelsea away. Brentford at home, I think they'll win. I think they'll beat Spurs away, seriously. I think they'll beat Bournemouth away, so that's 3 wins out of 3 there. Chelsea away, I think it's going to be tough. More tough than Spurs, in my opinion. I genuinely think Spurs are falling off, lads. City at home, obviously difficult, but it is at home for Brighton. Forest away, I think they'll win. Wolves at home, I think it's going to be tough, but I think they'll win. Man United at home, I think it's going to be tough, but I think they'll get a point. Everton at home, they'll win. Arsenal Arsenal away, it's going to be difficult, but I think if anyone can get a point there, it's Brighton. Southampton at home, I think they'll win. And Villa away, I think it'll be tight. So, for me, they're just missing out on top 4 because I think another side potentially will just squeak into 4th because of the points they've already got on the board. And I don't want them to, but I think it will be a huge, huge achievement for this team. So, in 4th place, I've gone with Newcastle. Again, they went on a rut. They went on a very, very poor run of form. And they weren't having the greatest time. But it looks like now they've recovered and recouped and have hit a little bit of form yet again. So let's go on to Newcastle United's remaining fixtures. So they find themselves in 5th at the moment, 2 points off Tottenham with 2 games in hand. They're also 5 points ahead of Liverpool playing the same games, 5 points ahead of Brighton playing this game more. So Newcastle have Manchester United at home, West Ham away, Newcastle away, Brentford away, Villa away, Spurs at home, Everton away, Southampton home, Arsenal home, Leeds away, Leicester home, Chelsea away. It's a difficult set of fixtures, but I just think that they've got enough to win the games at home, and that should be enough for them, and potentially win like 1 or 2 of the away games. They've got a really, really difficult side to break down. They've only lost 3 games all season, and 2 of them are to Liverpool. I mean, imagine if Liverpool hadn't have beaten Newcastle this year, lads. I think I'm going to put them in 4th. I want them to get Europa League. I don't want them to get I don't want them to get in the Champions League, but I think they will, and I think they're going to be a top side in the future. They are going to build in the summer. They will sell in the summer as well. I think they will pick up a few quid for a few players. Especially, I think they'll look to teams to players who've gone down out of those 3 sides, Southampton, Everton, Bournemouth, and find some gems for cheap there. Maybe even look to the likes of Leicester for Maddison and Tielemans, maybe. Players from the lower reaches of the league who they can just pick up and improve and play at a top level in Europe and stuff. I think they get Champions League. I think they get it. Which for me is a real shame, but I'm going to put them in 4th, lads. I'm going to put them in 4th. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to think. I really want to put Liverpool in 4th, but I just can't. But if we manage to fluke 4th, we are the GOATs. Seriously. But I want us to get Europa for that Dublin time, lads. So 3rd, I think this is pretty self-explanatory. Manchester United, what a season for them. They could end up with a cup double, even a cup treble maybe, with the Europa League as well, as the FA Cup and the League Cup, which they've already won. Do I think they'll win all 3? No, I think they'll lose the FA Cup final to Manchester City. I think they might even lose to Brighton. Because Brighton are a great, great side. And United haven't played particularly well in recent weeks and look weak without Casemiro. If Casemiro gets injured, I think it's a problem. for Manchester United. But let's have a look at the rest of their fixtures. So, got Newcastle away, Brentford at home, Everton home, Forest away, Chelsea home, Brighton in the FA Cup semi-final, Spurs away, Villa home, Brighton away, West Ham away, Wolves at home, Bournemouth away, Fulham at home, and then, of course, they've organised that fixture with Wrexham, which I'm sure we'll be doing a watch-along for on the channel. So, realistically, the Europa League is going to be an issue for United, but I don't think it's going to be as much of an issue. They are on 50 points. So if they do lose a couple of games, I think they would get dragged right back into that top 4 race. But I think they'll just about maintain enough distance away from the top 4. If Newcastle beat them, that's a bit of an issue for them, I think. That especially gets them in the fight with Spurs for that place if Spurs continue to win. And the way Spurs are at the moment, I don't think Spurs will, by the way. I think they'll fall off. So, United, I think they'll finish 3rd. So, Manchester United, do you guys think there's any chance they get dragged into that top 4 battle? Because the fixtures aren't amazing. I have to say that. I back them at Old Trafford against Everton, Brentford. I back them against Forest. I back them against Chelsea. I back them against Villa at home. I think they might lose to West Ham or something. There's a lot of home games, though. There's a lot of home games towards the end of the season. I think they'll be okay. I think they will be okay. I think if they lost a couple more games, I'd worry for them. I would. So, now let's have a look at the big one, lads. The huge one. The most monumental of Premier League titles for me. Because for me, a mark of a good team is being able to win a league when you can, in some ways, when the rest of the teams are down, you take advantage. And one team has taken advantage of a situation where a lot of teams are underperforming. Potentially one of these teams are underperforming this season. So, in second place, I've gone with Manchester City. And in first place, I've gone with Arsenal. So I think that Manchester City will win. I've got to just get rid of a bit of text here, lads. So Manchester City in second, and first, Arsenal. I think Arsenal have won the league because they are a bit like Leicester, right? In the fact that they have taken advantage of a situation where a lot of teams have been performing badly. And that's not a way to discredit Arsenal, because I think they've played some unbelievable football this season. They've won games consistently well. They've been a brilliant team to watch. But I don't think they're the best team in England, by far. I don't think they are, in terms of overall. I'd arguably say they're probably not as good overall, if you look individually, as a side like Liverpool or Manchester United. But what has got them through is an incredible team spirit, fantastic young players, and a fantastic manager who put the philosophy in place. That's how important a fantastic manager is. And I will say this right now, Mikel Arteta is an unbelievably good coach. Unbelievable. And people trusted him and backed him because Arsenal were in the situation to do that. Now, say if he went to a Chelsea, he wouldn't have been afforded the time. Arsenal gave him that time. And they are reaping the rewards right now. Seriously. Fair fucking play, Arsenal. And I mean that genuinely. They have been unbelievable. Do I think they'll win the league next year? No. Do I think they'll win the league for the next 3 years? No. But I think they'll be up there. Right? They'll be genuinely up there and involved. Which from the 7th and 8th that they were finishing previously, it's far cry from it. And I'm really, really happy for them. Because I tell you what, I'm not a massive fan of the Arsenal fan base. But what I'm a massive fan of is the way that Mikel Arteta has worked this. This is elite management. And I mean this sincerely. Elite management. Unbelievable management. Some of the best you'll see. The way that he's constructed this squad in his image. Young players. Hungry players. Again, do I think they'll go and win the league? No. Do I think they'll win the Champions League? No. Win the league consistency, sorry. No. Do I think they'll win the Champions League? No, I don't. But I think in this particular context, they have given themselves a real platform to be challengers for a long, long time. They get Saka sealed down to a new contract. They get Martinelli down to a new contract. They could be a force in the future. They could genuinely be a force. So, yeah. Arsenal. See you later, Jack. See you later, buddy. So, Manchester City. Why have I put them second? I've put them second. Yeah, I do think they'll win the league despite an Anfield loss. They're 8 points clear. Like, they'll be absolutely fine. Hello, Lil M Force. How we doing? Oh, mate, no, listen. We're still going over here, my man. We're still going over here. So you think I do? By the way, I do think they'll win the league despite losing at Anfield. Manchester City won the league whilst losing at Anfield regularly. Like, even some of the best teams in Europe, the winners of Premier Leagues, have not passed the Anfield test. I don't think Mikel Arteta's team will pass the Anfield test seriously. So yeah, I do. I worry for them at Anfield, but I don't worry for them at the top. Manchester City, however much I think they've got the ability to do so, I just think Arsenal have too many points. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I just think Arsenal have too many points and they've accumulated too many points. City look like they could drop points away from home, but if Haaland continues on his amazing run of form, I think they'll beat Liverpool on the weekend, by the way, even though I'm doing the watch along for that, and of course I'm a massive Liverpool fan, but I just think they will win. The rest of their fixtures, they have got Arsenal at home. That could be a league title decider. But Arsenal's fixtures, for me, I would say are slightly more favourable than City's. Slightly. A lot more home games. And teams that they probably should win against. I just think they've got too many points. Who do I think will beat Liverpool v Man City? I'll predict that now for you. I'm going to do a whole prediction stream for that on Friday night. I won't be live tomorrow night, guys, but I might be live. I might be, actually. I might do an FM stream tomorrow. I think City will win 2-1. That's my thoughts. Actually, no, 3-2. I'm going to go 3-2, but I hope... Man City have never lost a title race. Every time they're in one, they've always won it. Absolutely. You are right, Alternate Cows, but I just think Arsenal are here. They're here, man. Good to have you here, though, Lil M4, though. It really is. But anyway, I am very, very close to finishing now, guys. So, yeah, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. Do you agree or do you disagree with my predictions? I think I've made some slightly controversial ones, but I'll run through them quickly. So I've got Arsenal to win the league, City second, United third, Newcastle fourth, Liverpool fifth, Brighton sixth, Spurs to fall off and finish seventh, Chelsea eighth, Villa ninth, Brentford 10th, Fulham 11th, Leicester 12th, Wolves 13th, Leeds 14th, Forest 15th, West Ham 16th, Palace 17th, Southampton 18th, Everton 19th, and Bournemouth 20th. So let me know what you guys think. I might be completely wrong, but if I get it all right, I hope you guys can thank me for that and just thank me for being an absolute oracle. I've been Chris Stonadge. This is the Stonadge channel, and I'll catch you later. Bye bye.